fall, we have a really solid team this year. And I think we started off strong with our first tournament in Pueblo, and then winning our home tournament helped. And when you get momentum going, it always feels like it's easier every tournament to compete and like kind of raise your expectations. Personally, like momentum always helps me. Like going from one tournament to the next, like it just seems like it gets better and better with every tournament. That's also the hard part of having a short fall season. You only get 4 tournaments to kind of get it rolling. But yeah, overall it was a really solid start to this year.
And then you just mentioned it, having 4 straight weeks, 4 straight tournaments. How is that different than your other years past?
Fall's normally pretty routine for the most part. It's pretty quick. It's like a full month just straight through. Spring, on the other hand, we normally have 5, and this past year we doubled up on one of them. So we had a tournament in Phoenix and Tucson, and we went like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And that was hard with school, but golf-wise it really helped. Like being able to play 6 days in a row, it's nice. It helps. It's nice not having a break, and it kind of just keeps things going.
And then Crystal, for you, the transition from playing high school golf and tournament golf with the junior golf associations, how has that helped you transition into having such a great freshman fall season?
In my high school golf career, we were a very competitive team as well, so it was nice being used to that competitivity, and like jumping into college golf, it just felt like high school golf all over again. So that was really what I was just focusing on. I wasn't saying like, oh, this is college, I gotta play better. I just said stick to what you know, and just you don't have to prove anything to yourself because you're playing college golf.
Questions?
Yeah, what do you think has been working for you your freshman year and able to stand out?
I worked really hard this past summer. I made sure I was up to where Coach Hansen wanted me to be in order to fit in with Hannah over here and everyone else on the team. So just working on like especially my short game, that was very, very important to me. Yeah, pretty much that's yeah.
Coach said you played an awful lot of tournament golf over the summer, and
yes,
those probably are maybe even more competitive.
Yes,
than what you got right now.
Las Vegas, where I'm from, there's a bunch of competitive golfers, especially girls, which is very rare. So in July and June, I had like 7 straight weeks of tournaments each week, so that really got me grinding, and then used to the 4 straight weeks of tournaments we had here. It just felt like it never stopped.
What are some of the things that you think you guys can improve on as a team going forward?
I would say definitely, like Coach always says, probably our last 6 holes.
Yeah. Finishing around
we
strong.
always talk, we're a really good 9-hole team. It's always just like the last 6 holes, I think we start pressing a little bit. I know that's what I do at least. Like I start thinking towards like, oh, I could shoot this if I finish out this and that. I think a lot of times getting ahead of ourselves has caused us kind of to fall off in those last couple holes. Because normally in tournaments we start off really strong and then kind of as the tournament goes on. So I think just like stamina and just keeping the focus and one shot at a time, that's been our kind of motto this year. And not think towards the end result, kind of just take it one shot at a time and then see what happens from there. I think that's probably the biggest thing that we should just keep working on going into the spring.
So now you've got this break that you can work on some things, and then you can go home and play in the desert all winter. So that's kind of a nice thing. But how much do you really have to do in the winter to really get ready for spring?
Mainly just keeping our swing, keeping our keeping our rhythm, instead of like taking a break when we're on break. Golf is really like all seasons. Well, in Vegas it is, but here I'm not used to snow, so I'm getting ready for that. But just making sure your swing stays where it is. Just you're allowed to have some rest days now that season's over, but you still need to focus on keeping your momentum going.
Yeah, I would say also the biggest thing is probably short game for me. Just if I don't do it consistently, I lose it really, really quickly. And on top of that, that's like the biggest thing I kind of need going into spring. And I mean, being from Denver, I can't really go play all the time. But I have some plans with my dad to go out to Phoenix and just get a couple rounds in for fun. Might as well go somewhere nice. And like Crystal said, like momentum and rhythm is huge. So keeping that going, so when our spring season starts, we feel like we've already kind of have it rolling. Because a lot of like the other schools, like from California and stuff, they start their season a lot earlier than we do. And I think if all of us can kind of keep it tuned up during our off season and go into the spring like we've been playing, I think that'll be huge.
You talk about having the momentum going into spring season. You guys have positioned yourself in a really good spot to make the postseason for the first time in quite some time, your first time ever.
Yeah.
I mean, you just mentioned a lot of short game, but do you still just take it one tournament at a time, trying to keep that consistency, or can you look at that big picture and say, you know, if we do this, we can make the postseason?
I think that varies player to player. In my opinion, I like looking forward. I think that helps kind of motivate me. Like, that'd be huge to go to the postseason. That's like the main goal. And I think if we look forward to that and realize that it's not just our max that matters, every single tournament leading up to that can give us a much better chance of going as a team. That kind of helps me tune it in and say this tournament matters. Like, let's put the best score we can up there. I think some other girls would have different views on that. Maybe kind of stresses them out. Thinking forward, they like taking it one tournament at a time. So I think whatever works for each girl is important. But yeah, I think we set ourselves up really well. So
Yeah, personally for me, I like to think one tournament at a time, but also having that postseason in the back of my mind. Like, don't forget it, but don't also worry about it, right? Like, at the moment, just focus on playing in the tournament, make sure you perform well, and then like at the end results, you can see like, oh, we can do it. Like, we can get to postseason. Just always have that goal in the back of your mind is very important.